Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome, folks. Today, the Hungry Gamer is back with another episode of Boards and Brews, and today I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Matthew McCack from Room 51. Don't know what happened to the other 50 rooms, but I assume it was horrible and painful. And so, Matthew, thank you so much for taking the time to join me. And before I say anything, I'm going to hit you with the rapid fire questions that every first time guest gets. So I hope you're
Okay,
ready.
I'm ready. Born
Who the
ready.
crap are you? What is your shtick, and how and why did you get into the content creation business? And if you have one, what is your brewed beverage of choice tonight?
Yeah, wow. Okay, yeah. So, like you said, I am Matthew McCack, one half of Room 51. Because right, all the other 50 rooms were trash, so we had to get to the 51th room. The 51st room. There's no 51th. The
We're gonna
51st
go with it.
room.
We're gonna go with it. The 51th
We're gonna go with
room.
it. I make up numbers. Make up numbers. My shtick. I don't know. I am a therapist by day and night. And I am also a board gamer by day and night, and mostly on the weekends. And yeah, I got into content creation because I don't know. I really loved watching content, and then I was a theater major in undergrad. I
Oh, I
like
did not
performing.
know that. I am
Yeah.
a theater person also.
Oh snap! There we go. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So
Uh-oh. So I'm gonna do a quick pause. What kind of theater are you? Are you like a classical theater person, a musical theater person? What's your jam?
I really love performing in black box theater type of thing. So like off stage,
I
off Broadway. I mean, um, that's sort of my jam. I love watching almost anything. I love musicals. I love the big productions. I love the smaller stuff. Yeah, I just love it all. I love creativity.
fair enough. Fair enough. My preference is actually also performing in small black box spaces. But anyhow, back to the thing. So you're a
Yes,
theater person, which basically means that we like to hear ourselves talk. So
exactly.
and then you put it on video, and then you can just hear yourself talk all the time. But
No, it's great.
yeah, but so that's your shtick. You got involved because you like to hear yourself talk. But was there anything more than that that like finally pushed you over into being like, I'm doing this for me?
This thing. Yeah. Well, actually, I I typically don't like hearing myself talk. I'm actually a painfully shy person, introverted. But because I love to perform, this was an outlet for me to do that. I can perform in front of the camera, pretty much no problem because I feel like it's just me. And I'm not actually talking to anybody. But then I upload it, and there it goes.
No,
I
don't watch
really
yourself. Never watch yourself.
no, you never watch or listen to yourself unless you're editing it, and then, that becomes a problem. Luckily, my wife now edits,
All right, so
once I make sure
we
my
had a brief moment where we had a connection problem, but Matthew, you were just telling us that your wife does the editing for you.
Yes, she does, so I don't have to look at myself, I don't have to listen to myself, it's fantastic. Yeah, but really, I got into the whole thing because on the Dice Tower, Tom Vassell put out a call for more board game breakfast segments or contributors, and so I sent him an audition tape. I've never done anything like it before. I didn't have my own channel or anything, but I was like, well, why not? Let's just try. And so I did. And he actually approved of it. And so I was on the Dice Tower, and that's really how it all started for me.
Well, so right into the big leagues. So
Yeah,
that is why you're clearly the most important person that we've had on this podcast.
right, absolutely.
That's right. Suck it, Don from Secret Cabal.
Yeah, yeah. Don,
Yeah, what does he know?
chicken
Nothing.
game, whatever.
Oh, that's the other Don. But
Oh,
yes,
it's a different John that you're talking about. Okay, whatever. Both
yeah,
Dons,
but
whatever.
that Don too. He can. Both all Dons can suck it.
All
Like what?
Dons.
Yeah. All right, but actually, Don's chicken game Don. He loves you so much.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, he has a shirt
Oh,
At least
that's
one
incredible.
shirt, maybe 2 shirts. He sends me your videos all the time. I'm like, "Don, I've already watched this." "Yeah, but, like, look at this." I'm like, "Okay, Don." So,
Don is fantastic.
yeah,
Don is
so
so great.
yeah, you have a fan for life in Don. So don't blow it because I'm gonna blow it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying not to. I tend to blow things, but hopefully I don't ruin this, Don. If you're listening, Don, I love you.
Yeah, he's listening. He's probably waiting for us to say his name. So let's see every so often, let's just be like, "Hi, Don," and he'll get all excited. Yeah. Now, have you played Backyard Chickens?
Oh, heck yeah. And it is definitely the best chicken game I've ever played. It's actually really good. It's a really good game. It's solid. And I dig it. We actually played it live on stream
Oh, that's
once.
right. I actually watched that stream.
Oh, did you? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I don't watch live streams too much because 'cause I'm
Hmm.
old, and old people don't do that. But yes,
Yeah,
yes,
too
yes,
cool.
I do remember that. Him and Adrian are actually working on a follow-up, and
Ooh.
all I'll say is he might be mad at me, is that it's called Pest Control, I believe, and
Oh,
it's an area control game. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
okay.
But hopefully it becomes a thing. But anyhow,
Yeah,
so
that'd
let's
be
actually
dope.
jump in
Yes.
what's going on. So talk about kind of recent plays. So what are some of the games that you have recently played? Let's start out with this, whatever your first one is.
Lorcana for sure. I've been playing a lot of Lorcana from Ravensburger. Have you heard of it?
Well, I've heard of it. I haven't played it because I had it bad with Magic the Gathering
Yes.
back in middle school. And for those people, Magic the Gathering people, that was around the time that Fallen Empires came out, which was a specific set. And I spent so much money. And I've learned that I cannot be trusted with collectible card games. So I have not touched it, but I do know what it is. But so I assume you're enjoying it.
I am absolutely loving it. I think it is probably my most played game of 2023. Um, if I was to look back, because it's so quick, or at least I've found it to be quick, and I love CCGs or collectible card games. I'm such a sucker for those types of things. And then I love Disney. My wife loves Disney, and so it just works. And so now she's actually willing to play this with me because she's not huge into collectible card games, but this one she's into.
Isn't that always the win when your partner's like,
Yes,
this is one that I really want to play?
yeah, it is so great. And then all my friends, family members and everything, are playing it too, which is great. We don't have any enchanted cards, even though we've bought like a bunch of booster boxes. We're
Come on,
due for,
Ravensburger.
come on, man. Yeah, like what the
Oh,
heck?
I assume that's like the ultra rare cards. Is that what that is?
Yeah, yeah, those super ultra rare cards. And I'm like, and then I'll hear other people, they're like, oh yeah, I opened up a booster and then like there was an enchanted in it. And it was like their first booster that they opened this pack. And I'm like, oh, okay, great, good for you. I've had like freaking 8 boxes of those.
Yeah, right. And then I assume you kicked them in the shin and you never talk to them again, right?
Yeah, and I sold their card.
There you go. See, I didn't expect that out of you, but
Yeah, no.
oh,
Yeah, I'm
Brooklyn,
full of
Brooklyn.
surprises.
Of course, I should have
Brooklyn,
expected that out of you.
Brooklyn, New York, it's in me.
Yeah, yeah.
I break knees.
So now, are you one who played Magic the Gathering in the past, or
I have. I've played Magic the Gathering, I've played Yu-Gi-Oh! I've dabbled a little in Pokemon. I've been playing even I know it's a dead CCG, but I played Nightmare Before Christmas, um, Dice Masters, the whole shebang. Like I said, I'm a sucker for these things.
all right? So
So
so compare. So I'm just only going to compare to Magic 'cause that's the only one I
yeah,
really know.
got it.
How does it compare to Magic?
It is. So instead of like, in Magic, you're trying to get your opponent's life points down to zero. From I think it's 20 if I'm remembering
Yeah.
properly.
Well, at least when I
Uh
played, it was 20.
yeah, right. So in Lorcana, instead of trying to beat down somebody's health points, you're trying to get what's called lore points. So it's more of a race to get 20 points. And you start with zero. And you're when you attack, uh, and you can attack with your characters that you're playing out onto the field. Um, but you choose what you're attacking. Like you choose which other character you're attacking, if you want to attack at all, and that would be exhausting the card, kind of like tapping the card in Magic. Um, but there's other interesting things you could do in the game when you exhaust a card. So instead of just like attacking or defending, you are you might exhaust it to gain lore points, like going on a quest to gain lore points, which is cool. So you're opening yourself up now to being attacked because now your card is exhausted. Uh, but that's also the way to get points. So that's it. So there's an interesting balance there. Another interesting difference is mana. So in Magic, you had to play your land cards in order to pay for your creatures or whatever it is that you're placing out onto the field. Um, in Lorcana, um, there's no such thing as like land cards, like or mana. It's called ink, and anything with a certain symbol on the card could be ink. So even if it was a character or an item or an action card or whatever, you could still ink that card if you place it face down, and it could be used as you're spending your currency
Mm.
to play other cards. Then so now it's that other balance of like, oh, do I want to like be able to play this card, or do am I going to use it as ink? So there's interesting differences there, and overall, I think it's just an easier concept, and everything in the game is just easier to get into than Magic the Gathering because it could get really, um,
Well, at least for
yeah.
now, right? I
At
mean,
least for now, yes, that's
because
true.
Magic's been out
That's true.
since, gosh, I think it probably came out when I was in like fourth grade, and that was like a million years ago.
A
So
million.
yeah, so we'll see we'll see where it goes. But I do like the sound of that. You're talking about the way the ink works.
Yes.
I do like adventure card games, and one of my favorites is Aventuria, and that's the core thing of how you pay for stuff. You have to just put cards face down out of your hands. So you're never going to get to use them except to use them to summon other cards. I do like that kind of
That's cool.
yeah. The resource management that is very very cool. That is back Satan. You can't get me to play Lorcana.
Hmm.
Not going to touch it. No, no.
No, no, I will be Satan. I will sell this game to you. Will.
Ravensburger, send room 51 boxes. You know what?
Yes, please and thank
You
you.
would open all of those and get no enchanted cards.
You know what? At that point, I'd have to do TikTok just to show how unlucky I am. The proof. And I'd be one of the cool kids who's on TikTok then.
There you go. There you go. All right. So, but one of my recent plays is a game called Project Eos Rise. Now, this is a game that funded on Kickstarter. I did a preview, and it funded, but it didn't do fantastically. I think I had maybe 500 backers or something like that. And this is a crisis management game where Earth's going to blow up or something terrible, and we know this is going to happen because we got you know how we have the listening station, like the big old
Mhm.
satellite dish, and we're like listening for messages from outer space.
Yeah,
Well, we got something, and it's like, just so you know, in 50 years, Earth's going to blow up.
great. Thanks.
Oops.
Yeah.
And they say here's some schematics to build some stuff. So 43 years later, we're taking off, and we have 7 years to like fly around the universe and find a new planet where we can be safe. And so we got to fly around and find out where it is and all that. But of course, the aliens who don't like us because we're I don't know we're flesh bags. I'm not sure why they don't like us, but they're trying to stop you. So it's this crisis management game, but everything you do is based around worker placement. So you
Oh,
have
okay.
one worker, and you're placing your worker, and it's you have four characters out there, and you're placing your worker on the different spaces of the ship to upgrade the ship and move the ship and all of these things, but you're also upgrading your characters a la an RPG game to have more powers, and there's different tech trees you can go down. And you have these 7 rounds to find the new planet you can go to. And if you find the planet, then you get to go into this last rush to try to get to the planet before the aliens blow you up. And I enjoy crisis management games,
Mhm.
and I like worker placement games. This one's really cool, and I feel really bad for the publisher and the designer that nobody's ever heard of this dumb thing
Yeah.
because it is hard as crap, unique as hell. and it's just a lot of fun. And I previewed it, and I finally got to bust it out. My wife was like, "That was a lot of fun." I was like, "I know, right?" And she's, but so I wanted to bring it up. I played it actually a few weeks ago, but I wanted to bring it up because everybody, if you haven't checked this out, if you like crisis management games, you like worker placement, you got to check this game out. It's really cool. And Matthew, if you're the type who likes that kind of game, I'm positive, 90% positive that they would send you a copy to check out because it's really a lot of fun.
It sounds super up my alley. As you were talking about, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that sounds like I love worker placement, love adventure stuff. I also love crisis management." And now is this a cooperative style game?
Oh yeah, yeah, totally
Yeah,
cooperative. You can solo it. I think it probably is the most fun. You play two players because then each of you plays two of the
awesome,
different roles.
cool.
Because you always have you have the pilot, you have the military person, you have the commander, and the other guy, the engineer. The engineer. That's
The
what it is.
engineer. Okay,
Yeah, they all have it. I think it's really really cool, and
yeah.
I wish he had had more, well, money, really more money so he could get the word
Hmm.
out there. I think it's
Yeah,
really really clever.
it sounds awesome. And I'm also sad now that it didn't like fund. I guess.
Oh, no, I mean, it did fund, it did
Oh, it
fund,
did fund. It did fund.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
it's
good,
out there. It's
good,
definitely
good.
out there. I just wish, it's just th it's those games that they fund by, he actually his funding goal was actually a real funding goal, and he funded a
Hmm.
little bit over, had a couple stretch goals,
Awesome.
and so it's out there, but, it's not setting the world on fire, and I think it should be up there with, games like, the Reckoners and those kinds of games. It's a very fun game. I've really, really
Wow.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I definitely have to look into that one. Sounds like it's up my alley.
It is.
Um, yeah,
Alright,
cool.
so I'm looking at our outline here, and I see, speaking of crisis management,
Yes,
that you have been playing Pandemic Legacy Season 2. Now, so before you talk about Season 2, have you played Season 0 and Season 1?
I've only played season one. Uh, I, I'm do I'm I've planned to play them in the order in which they've come out. And I played season one a while ago. Before the actual like pandemic happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't play it then much because I was like, that feels weird to me.
right.
Now it like
Yes.
super feels weird to
Now it
me.
feels weird, right? Yeah. Well, now I feel better about it, where I can actually do it. We're out of lockdown, and I've had this game because I bought it right before lockdown, and then I was like,
So it
oh,
was your fault.
yes, I was behind the whole thing actually.
Heard it
Whoops.
here first, folks.
um, but yeah, so it's just sitting in shrink, and then I was finally like, I want to play this game. I loved season one. And it was my introduction into just the legacy style of gaming, and I love campaign stuff, and then the permanence and legacy is so cool to me. Season one was fantastic. The story was great, and there was just so much wow factor. Um, it was really it's an experience. And so season two I've been playing with again my wife and then my sister and my brother-in-law, um and we've just been having a heck of a time. It's been great. We I think we're in the month of May now in the game. And for those who don't know, I'm not going to spoil anything, but you play over a series of I think it's like 12 months. I think you play a full year in the game. And again, I don't want to say too much, but I would highly recommend playing season one before playing season two, because it does take things from the story of season one that you wouldn't appreciate as much had you not played season one. Could you play it without it? Yes. But yeah, there's gonna be some things then that kind of go over your head where they're clearly hinting at other things that happened in season one. So, but overall, it's very cool. You get your characters just like in your vanilla pandemic game. It's cooperative, and you are ripping things up and placing stickers all over the board and on your character sheets. New rules are coming up. New things are happening as the story unfolds, and you're finding out different things, and you're just like, oh snap, oh my gosh, and you're finding out different places of things, and it's just it takes the pandemic system and totally destroys it and builds it into something new in such a beautiful way that causes almost like a cinematic experience.
Mhm.
I love it. It's just so good.
And so, I've played a couple of legacy games.
Yeah.
I've played through Betrayal Legacy, and
Mm,
I'm playing through with the same group that we did with Clank Legacy, and it was real hard to tear up those cards the first time.
uh-huh.
I mean, oh, it felt bad. I was like, I'm gonna destroy this thing forever. Did you have that experience? Or you're like, yeah, screw it. Shh.
I did have that experience, and I have not ripped up or thrown out anything that it tells me to. I keep everything. I have it in a certain pile. I'm like, I already know that these are the things that were supposed to be destroyed. They're gone. Fine. I haven't torn up anything, and I will not do that.
Wow. So
So that's me.
in theory, your season one, you could just do it all again.
um, I don't think so, just because of the stickers and everything that go on the board.
Oh well, if you
Um,
stickered it, you might as well. You should just have just rip them up tonight. Just do
I
it.
can't.
Just
I can't do it. I'm
it
like,
is kind of liberating. I felt the same way, and then now we're just like just ripping it up and throwing them all over the place. It helped that my buddy for Betrayal Legacy, he just pulled out like the biggest pair of scissors you ever seen. It was like, cut this thing up. We're like, "Ugh."
no, no, oh, I can't. Uh, you know, part of me too is like, I feel like I definitely did something wrong. I know it's telling me to throw this card away, but what if I need it later because
Yeah,
I'm sick? So,
yeah. Oh
yeah.
gosh, that is all that. God, that is always my fear. I'm like, what am I needing it? I don't need it later. I'm never gonna do it again. All right,
Well,
so
what
yeah, go
what if
ahead.
I messed up?
Well,
I
then the
wasn't supposed to
world
throw it out.
dies. The
I was
world
supposed to
dies.
throw
It's
no
on you.
ties. Dang
Uh-huh.
it! I wanted to be a hero.
Well, you used the wrong card. Now the world is dead. Good job. But sticking on the crisis management, the next one that I just played, and this one I backed and it's sat on my shelf for I don't know 3 or 4 months, is Tesseract. It's another
Yes.
crisis management game. Did you have this one?
I do. I got to play it at PAX Unplugged. And uh oh yeah, my review did not come out just yet, I don't think. But amazing. Love this game.
Yeah. So you, for those of you who are not in the know, you have a cube of dice, which is the Tesseract, and you're basically trying to get these dice off of the cube and onto this other little board because you have to have one die of each number of each color placed on the board before either all the dice come out of the cube or a certain number of dice wind up in this other spot of the table. And so crisis management games, same thing. You got powers and you're doing different actions. You're trying to manage these dice. It's really clever. This game from Smirk and Dagger,
Mhm.
and yeah, I backed it, and I've only played once, but man, I really, really enjoyed it. I put it right up there with other crisis management games that I think are a hit. Now, the only question I have for you though is, did you get the metal dice?
No, so I got a review copy and they didn't it's just the regular dice. I didn't back it or anything on Kickstarter.
Yeah, I backed just the regular version. I thought about it real hard, but the metal dice are twice the cost of the game.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
Dang.
because I mean, because it's all those dice, right? All those
Right.
dice are metal. Kurt, Smirk and Dagger, Kurt. If you would
Mhm.
like to send Matthew and I some metal dice, we will take them.
Yes. I'll
He's
take
not
them.
sending us any dice,
I'll take
but
those
they
dice
are
real quick.
stunning. It's a very clever game, and
Mhm.
I've only played the once, and Don, original Don, also he's played a few times. It's really clever. I'm very enamored with this game. It's one that I really kicked around taking with me to visit my brother Skippy this weekend.
Mm.
But yeah, gosh, it's really clever. I hope they come out with more content for it because it's really clever. It's not easy either. Like
No.
we played on like a low level
Mhm.
of easy, and we managed it. But he was Don was showing me the harder levels. That is really hard.
You
And
beat
how have
it
you
on
done
the
with it?
I we have not won, and on the, like, easy level. So, I guess we suck, but we we
So let me
tried.
get this. So you started the global pandemic
Yes,
and you've blown up the world with the Tesseract.
correct, correct. I'm
Wow.
on a roll. I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Doing
No
great
one
things.
sent Matthew any more crisis management games.
Don't
Oh
listen
my
to
gosh,
William.
if we send you Project Eos Rise, you're gonna just literally kill all of humanity.
It 3 for 3.
You know what?
I
We got
have
it
to.
coming. We got it coming.
We gotta come in. It's true. No, Tesseract is so good. We have not won. We've tried. We tried twice at the Learn and Play for PAX, which is where I found out I did not know this game at all. I didn't know anything about it. We lost both times. And then we played like I think like two more times later once I brought the review copy home, or maybe three more times. No, I think two more times. Lost. And we're just having a lot of fun with it. It's so good. And I love the symbols on the
Mhm.
dice. I mean, it's so easy to read that like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But the little creativity of it to make it feel sci-fi was so cool.
Yeah, it's really looks good, and it's got everybody's got a lazy Susan. Um,
Yes. Yes.
a
A
small
mini
one.
one, yeah.
Yeah, but it's raised up, and you have this big cube of dice. It looks really good. I'm
Yes.
really pleased with it. But so now I know you only had 2 games listed as recent plays. I listed 3. Do you have one more thing you've played recently?
Oh gosh, I'd have to think about it as you're talking about your 3rd one.
Okay, good. So you think about it. I'll talk about the 3rd. I'll talk quick about it. And that's a game called Age of Rome. And this is one that's interesting because I now know that about 2.5 years ago, they reached out to me and said, "Will you cover this game when it delivers?" And I researched and I was like, "Yes." And then 2.5 years later, I got this email, Age of Rome is coming. I was like, "What the crap is that?" And it showed up, and it's this beautiful game. And it also is a little bit of a lazy Susan, which is why it fits
Ah,
in.
okay.
But
Mhm.
this Euro game about after Caesar has died, and it's who's going to take over. But it's a Euro game with a little bit of area control where you are building up your area. So you're spending your resources to build buildings, which are worker placement spots, to put your thing out, which get you cards or worker placement stuff.
Mhm.
But every round, you're going to turn the entire board, and then someone else is going to get your region that you just built up, and they get to mess with it now, and they get to use it. So, and you're going to get whatever
Mm,
someone else built up, and you know who's going to get your region every round. It's fascinating. I don't know
interesting.
yeah, I don't know my final thoughts on this because I've only played once, but I'm hoping to play it more. But it's really cool and it's very pretty. It's got acrylic tiles for each of the buildings, so as you build them up, you're just putting the acrylic tiles on top of each other. You can kind of see through them. It's very interesting. So I'm withholding my judgment,
Okay.
but I think I like it. I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it sounds like one that would need, like, kind of a couple of plays to really wrap your head around,
Yeah,
it
yeah, and
sounds.
Don and I, we played the one time, and it took me a little while to kind of figure it out, but we had fun. I think I liked
Mhm.
it more than he did, but I don't know. I think there might be something really cool there. But so that's Age of Rome. Not much to talk about. So I gave you like 2 minutes to think. Do you have one
I
more, or should we
I
move on?
got it. I got it.
Okay, hit me with it.
I realized, one that I recently played and, remembered how much I liked the game, was Raccoon Tycoon. And that one I feel like does not get spoken about enough as a really good game for those who like Monopoly. Um,
Wow, now that
because
I feel like that is an interesting niche of person that you
well,
have just locked in on.
well, I think for those, because I think you could use it, sort of as an entry game too, like an entry level game, because there's not really a whole lot going on. You have your actions that are stated right there for you. There's only like two or three or whatever it is, and you're playing your cards. The card shows you exactly what's happening. Things are going up and down. The goods or the commodities are going up and down. and then you're trying to sell high, hopefully. That way you could get more money. That way you can win auctions for whatever it is, sets that you're trying to get. Um, so it's an easy game to teach. I feel like you could play it with families of non-gamers who like Monopoly. And it's like, hey, let's try Raccoon Tycoon. It's faster than Monopoly, and it's really fun.
I
And
mean, to be
you
fair, the lockdown was faster than Monopoly.
know, true. But yeah, so Monopoly, so I just think that it's interesting to me that that sort of correlation has not been made a whole lot for because we're always saying like replacements for Uno, Monopoly,
Mhm.
whatever. But Raccoon Tycoon, I feel like it is another good one that doesn't get spoken about enough, especially as like a more entry level sort of
I think
game.
that's a super important market because I have some friends that now are playing more board games,
Hmm.
but like we started with just a very light thing. It
Yep.
was, and I love them to death. But it was a funny thing. Like they told me, it's like, oh, you like board games? I was like, yes. They said, so I keep seeing this game in Target. It's called Parks. It looks very pretty, but it's really, really expensive. I was like, let me tell you something. That $40, that
That's
ain't
not.
expensive.
No. Yep.
But so we got, and the greatest thing I've ever done is I was like, we're just gonna we'll keep playing Parks. I
Yeah.
don't know. We played like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times,
Wow.
and then I got because you're a content creator. We were constantly cycling new things through, and so
Yes. Yes.
replays are just rare. And then I got a text message from her, and she said, "Have you heard of this game called Wingspan?" And I was like, "Yes." But coincidentally, at the very same time, I got I'm on Jamie Stegmaier's or Stonemeyer Games as a reviewer list. And thing came out, said, "Hey, interested in any of these titles?" And Wingspan was on there, so I got it. And now they have it, and they keep buying expansions, so they love it. But it's that weight of game that I think is so valuable. So something like Raccoon Tycoon, now I'm going to go look for and maybe play that with them. Also, I hear the art is adorable on it.
It's fantastic. I love the art on it. I don't know. I find some of it adorable, and then other. I wouldn't say adorable, but something. It kind of gives me like a high society feel to it.
Ooh,
If you,
classy.
yeah. Uh, and the actual game, High Society. If you've played that one, the new version that came out fairly recently. Um, Uh, it kind of reminds me of that. It gives me that feel, I suppose. But yeah, it's all animals and stuff. That's the sets that you're collecting. And there's little building tiles and towns and everything that you could buy and stuff. So, uh, yeah, I love the artwork. It's really good.
All right, so jumping into the last quick thing. So, what is the game that you got on your table to be played next? And so for me, it's weird. The fact that both of these I've had two games called Eos in it
Hmm.
is weird because that is not a word.
Uh-huh.
Like it's not
Yeah,
a word, people.
yeah.
But Eos Island of Angels from Gray Fox Games and King Raccoon Games. And so it's on my tip. I just literally before we started recorded a solo play of it. And this is a highly asymmetric worker placement pirate game where you're
Ooh,
sailing around this mythical island, unfreezing these petrified angels. And don't think like Michael and Gabriel. These are just like weird, bizarre, otherworldly angel things that are going to give you powers and let you fight these demons. And it is weird and so cool
yeah.
and like kind of fiddly. Like there's a lot of bits about this game, but it's worker. It's really cool. So I was very excited. I went back and I watched my own preview because it's been a few years, and I was like, oh
Mhm.
wow, I was really excited about this game. And then I recorded the thing. I was like, oh yeah, I see why I'm really excited about this game. So now I'm like chomping at the bit to play it with
Cool.
multiplayer and things like that. But so yes, Aos Island of Angel. It's very weird. It's very cool. Make sure you get the deluxe version because it's got these double layer boards that you need the double layer boards. But
Always need the
it's
double A boards.
yeah, I've in my age, gotten better at not just going all in on everything all the time.
Yes.
Like, yeah, give me your retail copy. Like, there's a company or two that's, oh, we'll send you a deluxe. I was like, do you have to? Can, can you send me the retail because it's a smaller box?
That's
But
true. Yeah.
but not this one. So so that's what I got on my table just literally 20 minutes ago and next. So how about you? What do you have coming up next?
Yeah, I'm really hoping that I could get uh Kinfire Delve
Oh,
going. That would be
that's
great.
fun.
Yes, yeah. I'm excited for that one by Incredible Dream Studio. And I'm just excited for that publishing company in general. Um I
They're
think they're going to come out.
lovely.
Yes. They're
They
so awesome.
I met
Yes.
Risa. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I think it's Risa,
Okay.
who is just sweet as hell.
Yeah.
And I've talked with Ilya
Yeah.
via email, who is sweet as hell.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I love Kinfire Chronicles. It was
Mhm.
I don't know if you have that one, but
I have that one. I'm also hoping to get that one to the table.
so the only caveat I'll say, this is what that was my number 2 game of the year. I'll
Oh,
say is
okay.
I would not play with more than 2 people. And if you play
Okay.
with 2 people, each of you control 2 characters,
Hmm.
which is easy. I'm doing a on the channel playthrough with playing 3 characters, not hard to do.
Okay.
But oh man, it's it is so much fun, and I like Kinfire Delve a lot too. But tell me about Kinfire Delve.
Yeah, well, I know that I don't know a whole lot, except that it's in a much smaller package than Chronicles is, and I believe it's a 1 to 2 player game.
Mhm.
Um, so it only goes up to 2. This one, but similar sort of concept where it's cooperative, adventure style, and you are trying to overcome challenges. From what I remember of what I saw um, when I first looked through it and what was going on in it. And it seems to, of course, take place in the same universe. And it kind of seems like it takes what was going on in Chronicles, strips it down into like a very bare bones thing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
shifts a little bit.
it
Yeah.
does. It takes like the main thing with Chronos is this idea the card play and like the boosting. You get to boost
Hmm.
everybody else, but if you boost them, the card's out of your hand. Yeah, it's absolutely. Then it adds a little bit of dice chucking for a little bit of randomness.
Ooh, yes.
And
Love
the kind
dice.
of the fun fact, the fun bit is you can actually take the character cards from Delve. Now you have alternate art for
Oh,
Chronicles.
yes, yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
And I'm
I
so
had forgotten
mad
about that.
because the 2 characters in Delve are 2 of the ones I'm not using in my playthrough. I'm like, "Nyeh."
Oh, no, dang, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
then you're
when
gonna have to play it
they're gonna
again.
come out with, 3 sets, I think, of Delve, so
Cool.
you'll get to use all the different characters, but yeah, that's a fun one. I've enjoyed it. I'm very high on that publishing company.
Yeah, no, I am same. I met them, what was it? Gen Con of 2023, where I first got to see, like, some of the stuff that's coming out and everything. I was just like, "Y'all are awesome." Like, I am so excited for this, publishing company, and, I've known Ilya for a while, so, it was cool just seeing him in this role, so that was just awesome. Um, but another game that I have sort of on the table that and this is not a review copy or anything like that. This I backed this game and I went all in. So I don't go all in for most games. I'll say so, but this one I did, and it's Oathsworn. Into the Dark Woods, I think is like the
The
subtitle.
Deepwood.
Deepwood, yes. Um, and I'm just super excited to play. It took me forever to sort everything out into there,
Well,
into
especially
the
if
box.
you got all the big old minis.
Yes, yes, I do. I got everything. And it's insane. Like 4 boxes just like came and they're huge and I'm like I have
Oof.
no place to put this,
Yeah,
but yes.
are you and or your wife, painters?
I am, yeah, for miniatures, yes. I like to
Oh,
paint
okay,
them.
then
Yes.
I only have the standee version, and because of
Okay.
my space limitations, I'm pleased with my choice.
Mhm.
But I mean
Mhm.
that was my game of the year last year. It is so
So
good.
excited.
The
Yes.
only thing I got from the new thing is I got the little
Oh,
Oathsworn thing and
yeah.
the metal dice, like,
Metal
these
dice,
just
yep.
showed up, just the metal dice for the character health.
Cool.
Oh my gosh, it is so good. I mean, I don't know you well enough to know, but, like, you're gonna love it, I think, I hope.
I feel like I am, like, it seems adventure and just yeah, card play and everything. I'm so excited for
Yeah,
that one.
yeah, oh gosh, it's and I'm dying for you to play it, and I'm
Yes.
dying to hear what you think about it, and yeah, start painting. Did you get the weird changeable arms and stuff too?
I did not. I did not get that, and I I kind of wish I did at this point. I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize how much like that is actually a factor in the game." Um until I started looking at things and I was like, "Oh, maybe I get that." Um
Yeah, it's funny, I felt the same way when I got my stuff. I was like, "Oh, shit." Then I looked at the how many boxes it was, and I was like, "What is wrong with me?" Because like, I'm changing out weapons, like, every fight. And so
Yeah.
I was like, "No." So I'm glad I didn't, but, oh
Okay.
gosh, the FOMO on that one was big. Oh, I'm so excited for you to play it. I once you're gonna
Yeah.
play it, you're gonna be like, "This is crap."
This is crap, garbage. Never look at it again.
Yeah, oh,
I highly doubt it. I think I'm gonna really like this one.
yeah, if yeah, it is
Yeah.
just, ugh,
I even got the
brilliant.
big terrain packs stuff.
Oh, you better start painting those too.
Yeah, I know. I got
Don't you dare
trees.
put anything on the table till you've painted it.
Oh man, well then it might be 5 more years.
Yeah, that's
I am
the
slow when it comes to
yeah, well,
painting things.
I'm of the school of the slop and drop paint school. Like, just slop some color on there, get it out there, have some fun. Because I every now and then I go down the rabbit hole on, like, Instagram of miniature painters,
Mhm.
and, like, if I try to hold myself to that standard,
Oh heck no.
I just stop playing games, you know?
Yeah, I would yeah. Although I am going to be signing up for Jamie Dagger's Patreon. If you don't know who Jamie Daggers is, she's wonderful and she's a fantastic miniature painter. Also super kind. And I want to sign up for her Patreon where she actually does one-on-one lessons with you. Well, one, I just want to talk to her more because she's wonderful. Um, and two, I'm like, awesome, yeah, I want one-on-one teaching on how to paint these miniatures. That would be great.
That's really cool. Oh, that's you're they're gonna look so good. Oh, so
Yes.
jealous. Yeah, I was actually super excited. A friend of mine for Christmas got me an airbrush,
Oh yeah.
which and it's like real. It charges like by USB. Like, I don't
Wow.
know. I haven't busted it out yet because I'm. It's gonna save me money on priming at least, but
Mhm.
now I gotta learn how to like do airbrush stuff, which
Yeah.
which I'm super intimidated by, but I really want to do. Oh, you know what we need to do. Total another sidetrack.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the channel Meet Me at the Table?
Yes.
He does every so often just painting streams, and I've been on a couple. When you're ready, let's both
Yes.
go on the paint
Let's do
stream
it.
because they're all kinds of fun. And he is a great painter. He pretends like he's trash. No, I'm
Uh-huh.
trash. He's great. It's a lot of
Uh-huh.
fun. You'll get some of your Oathsworn. You'll go on. You'll paint it. It's gonna be great.
That'd be awesome. I would love to. That'd be great. And that's the best way to get me to paint too. When there's like we've planned this, so we're doing it. I'm like, okay. So it's a good time. That's fun. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I started painting again when it was during a period of time at my old school where I was just super stressed, and I finally just got some paints. And I was like, I'm just gonna do this thing. I find it super relaxing
Mm-hmm.
because what I'll do, I'll put on like something on TV, something that I don't really have to
Yes.
pay attention to, and I don't really have to pay attention to the painting a lot, like enough.
Mm-hmm.
I have to focus a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I know I'm not great, so just a little bit, and so I kind of have half focus on multiple things. I find it super relaxing. So since then, like you can tell if I'm stressed if I've painted a lot of stuff.
That's funny. I'm always stressed, so it doesn't matter. But um,
We'll start painting some Oathsworn.
we need yes. But I find it very relaxing and peaceful as well. I also watch something. I watch usually Dungeons and Dragons. Most recently I was watching Fantasy High, which has been a lot of fun. Um, I was painting some zombicide miniatures for my buddy, um, which uh So that was a lot of fun, getting to do that, and it's the one way I get to watch Dungeons and Dragons, without getting bored, and not because I'm bored watching it. I just my mind wanders,
Mhm.
whatever, but that keeps me in it, and I like that a lot. So, and it's another one where I don't have to constantly pay attention. It's like I could catch up with the story and everything. So
Mhm.
it's cool.
That's it. All right, but we're going a little bit longer because I know it's getting real late for you there. So, what we're going to talk about today is kind of this
Yes.
idea of balancing content creation with also over time you develop relationships with people in the industry. And now you more so than me are starting to dabble in the idea of designing your own game and kind of how all of that comes together, how that works, how that kind of plays out. So I kind of wanted to start us out with the idea of what is kind of your review philosophy? So when you look at covering a game, like how do you approach it? What do you talk about when you're talking about games?
Yeah, so for a long time, I didn't do reviews at all. It was very much about so like on the Dice Tower, I was doing Teach the Teach, where I taught folks how to teach a board game, and I would do live playthroughs and all that, or I would talk about like social issues as it pertains to board gaming, things like that. And I still do all those things. Well, except for Teach the Teach, I'm not on the Dice Tower anymore, but um, I recently started doing brief reviews where I do a quick overview of what the game is and then just my thoughts. And I'm intimidated by giving reviews. I have to say because I don't know, it seems so like professional to do something like that. And like I have to play the game a bunch of times, and then I have to play a lot of them. And by the way, I'm very behind in on the games I have to create
Makes
content
you feel
for.
better. Everybody's super behind.
Yes, everybody's behind, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many, and I I want to play them all. I just don't have the time, especially because for both of us, it's not our full time job.
Mhm.
So we only have so much time, and then to just play for fun is something else too, right? So when I go into if I'm thinking specifically about doing content on a game, I have to figure out how much time can I dedicate to the game. Um, if it's sort of a one-off, it might be that I'm doing a learn and play right here live on stream, because that's the time that I have for it. And then I give open remarks as I'm playing through it, my honest, authentic thoughts, along with my brother as we're playing and being dumb and messing around. For a review, um, I think, like I said, because it's so brief, I try to make it very apparent, like, these are just my thoughts and how I'm feeling about it. If you sort of align with me, you might feel the same sort of way about the game. If you don't align with me, then you might actually think the opposite of the game, and that's important too for you to know, right? And the brief overview is to just give you a small snippet, really quick. What is this game? And what is the feeling of the game? That's really what I'm trying to go for. Is like, what does the game feel like as I'm playing? Because I could tell you all the mechanisms in the world of this game, but it won't convey how it feels to actually play the game. So that's how I approach it. Like, how does it feel, and um, what were my thoughts on that feeling of the game?
Yeah, I am not somewhat similar to where I try to talk about my just what I think works well, and I really try very hard to separate out. It's not necessarily what I think works well is not necessarily what I really like personally, because I really try to focus on okay, well, if you like these things, you're going to like the game, and the same thing with what my criticisms are of the game. And the one thing that since the very beginning I focused on is not crapping all over games because there's not a lot of games that are truly terrible.
Yeah.
And also, and this is going to segue into the second part of our little discussion here, which is this is it's a small industry,
Mhm.
and you get to know people. Like personally, you get to know people, and you know that these people have spent years of their lives on these things. And for me to like throw it out a window or set it
Right,
on fire
right.
is actually like hurting these people. So I try to be very constructive about my criticism. And just because I don't like it doesn't mean you don't like it. So there's it's kind of only grown a little bit as I've gotten to know more and more people and just actually see how devastated sometimes they are
Yeah,
when,
it is hurtful.
like if the dice tower craps on your game, it's rushing to some
Yes.
people. And it's hard to watch that. So I try to keep that in mind. Like, well, you know what? I don't have I may not like this, and I may think this is broken, but
Mhm.
there's a way to say that kindly
Yes.
and constructively, and there's a way to say that which would get me. Now, to be clear, if I just started setting games on fire, I would get so many subscribers so fast.
Right, yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you wanna be a good person, but you're like, "Yeah, I would watch that."
Mhm,
It's hard. But so kinda as I've gotten to know people, it's really reinforced that for me, but, you're doing reviews, you're coming more into reviews now, but you also know a lot of people.
mhm.
How has that affected how you approach things? And you're also a therapist, so by nature, that means you're probably a nice person, or at least know how to pretend to be a nice person.
Yeah, I'm a New Yorker, so it's all pretend, the niceness.
That's right.
I'm just crapping all over New York. No, uh, New Yorkers are great, kind people, but not really.
Unless you're Staten Island, then they can
Unless
go
yeah,
right to hell.
yeah, then you don't know. You're not even a New Yorker. Um, so, uh, yeah, and yeah, you're right. I know people, and designers and everything. And I will say that whenever I crap on a game, um, it is usually with humor. Uh, and I know it's an unpopular opinion, and I make it known that it is an unpopular opinion. So, an ongoing joke in Room 51 is everybody knows that I strongly dislike Tiny Towns, the board game. Um, and I will say it is a bad game, and I'll list all the reasons as to why, but it's also a successful game. If it's a game that's like from a small publisher or something, then that's something else. I'm not going to do that. But
It's easier to be like, "I don't like Gloomhaven,"
oh
than it is
yeah,
to be
yeah,
like, well, but like Project Eos Rise, which I mentioned earlier, which thankfully is a
what,
very fun game, to be like,
yeah,
"That game's crap." Like,
yeah. I'm not
it
going to do
is
that.
it's less harmful to do something like that.
Yes.
Um,
That being
but
said, I am gonna be honest, and, usually if something is and I have gotten it before sometimes where, a designer will send me their game, and it's, like, the first game they've ever made, and they've not played many board games, and they'll send me something that's really just unplayable. Um, I just don't make a video about it, and I let them know, that that's not gonna happen, it wouldn't be in their benefit, and I will let them know, like, "Here are some things that you might wanna think about, with
Mhm.
this game." Um, but I'm not gonna, like, crap all over it to the public.
Yeah, I do that
Yeah.
with the previews, and I don't charge for previews,
Mhm,
but I also will if I really don't like a game, I will say, "Hey, this one doesn't work for me. Really, here's why," and I'll send it off to someone else. And usually that because because those games they're going to change.
mhm,
Like they're going to almost all of them are still being developed,
yes.
and so that's kind of feedback that's there. Also, I've had a couple of companies, and one of them I just put out a video of, well, for Dranda Games, where, and I think their latest one that's on Kickstarter is great. I love it.
Mhm.
They didn't use the last video I made for them because they're like, you know what, it was a little you were a little more critical than you wanted. So, I'll do that. I didn't think I was that critical. I was like, well, I thought it was pretty nice. But, I'll often send it on. Interestingly enough, I actually had one designer say, he's like, you know what, fair enough. Can I send you the production copy when it's done? Because we're gonna I think you're gonna like it better. I'm like, okay. I mean, just understand I didn't really like the thing, but but when it comes to a review, hey, a review's a review. You are published, you are done.
Yes.
I'm going
Yeah.
to be kind about it,
Yeah.
but I'll call it out. Um, which kind of brings me into the last part of this, and which is you are now crossing the line. You are strike busting and becoming a designer yourself.
That's the hope. Yeah.
How and I have a tiny bit of experience there. I am lucky enough that a solo mode I fan designed got picked up and is now real
So
in
cool. Yeah.
Coloma, and I got a couple other I've done. And I was just on a call before I recorded the thing I did before this with the designer that has a game that just got signed, and he's hoping the publisher will let me design a solo. So a little bit, but this is just solo modes. But I do fully recognize that I'm like, okay, what does that mean for me as a creator? Because now I have the like I absolutely got people to cover Coloma because I have a relationship with them as a creator.
Mhm.
And a couple of them were like, we had the conversation. They're like, look, Will, if we think this sucks, what do you want us to do? I was like, well, it's brilliant, so you're not gonna think it sucks. But but
Come on.
but we had that conversation,
Mhm.
because it was there. But now you're delving into maybe a full-on game. What
Yeah.
does that mean to you? How do you feel about it? What are you doing? And of course, give us the quick pitch if somebody's listening and wants to sign it.
Yeah, sure. Right. So I am having so much fun designing this game. I have always created games from when I was little. So it always felt like a no-brainer. And honestly, before I became a content creator, I've always thought about designing a board game. And now I had this I had the idea of what I wanted to make it off of, and it is based off of an IP, so that's something I'm actually really nervous about because I don't know if I could get the license for it, but it is about Shira, Princesses of Power, which is my favorite cartoon slash show of all time, and everybody should watch it. It is on Netflix, if anybody wants to check that out. But you as I was watching one episode, because I've watched the show a few times now, and I don't usually do that. I'm a one and done kind of guy. So this one, as I was watching one of the episodes, I was like, this would make for a really cool game. And it has gone through multiple iterations at this point. So one thing I'm terrified of is IP licensing, all that crap. And then the other thing is, can I make a freaking game? Because
Mhm.
I've been doing this. I've been trying to make this game for a few years now, since 2021, I want to say. And it's been really difficult to make it. I think I have an iteration now that it's got its core where it's essentially a tower defense type of game. It's a 1v all game, where the all is doing deck building while the one is doing bag building, um, for this tower defense style game. And well, that's the iteration as it stands for now. And I It's been difficult to figure out, okay, what is the core of the game? How do I want it to play? In terms of knowing people in the industry, that makes me scared in a whole other way where I'm like, like I don't know, will publishers take me seriously? Will I find out that like they actually hate my guts and they'll never publish my game? you know, so so there's that. It'd be really disheartening to not find a publisher when I have now worked with so many publishers on
Mhm.
this front. And then if they don't like my game, I'm like, dang, that sucks. But in terms of content creators, and if they are willing to make content of my game, honestly, I would be so honored if folks would even want to, play my game and make some sort of content on it. That, like, I mean, of course, I want them to like it. I want everybody to like my game, and to have fun with it. That's the point. Of course, not everybody's gonna like it, but
We
hopefully, it's
call
an
them
objectively.
idiots.
But you call them dumb, okay?
Yeah, we call them Staten Islanders.
Yeah. So It's kind of terrifying when I think of it in that way, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I'm so far off from that I'm just having fun making the game itself, and hoping that in the future others will get to play it and will have fun with it and like it. And that's really it.
So, how far away are you think, from actually doing a pitch?
Um, well, I want to play test. I haven't gotten to play test my latest iteration, and I'm hoping to do that soon. I think that if this is the one, if this iteration is good and it mostly needs like tweaking and balancing, uh, I could probably be like a year out from doing it.
And so, well, do you have a like a pie in the sky? Like, if I could just pick a publisher, it would be this one.
Oh, yeah, it would be probably Stone Meyer Games. I don't think that he would pick it up, Jamie Stegmaier. But that would be, and I gushed about Jamie Stegmaier on, on a live, uh, just chatting that I did with Jess CCG, who's another phenomenal content creator. Um, and I just love Jamie. He's so kind and nice, and he has helped me as a content creator so much. And I love Stonemeyer games. I love pretty much all of them except for like one,
Is
which will not be
it?
named.
Wait, wait. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the games behind you.
Okay.
Is it Pendulum?
Yeah.
There it
Yep.
is.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah,
It didn't
it
quite
didn't
work.
work. But you're right. And I know Jamie sometimes listens, so Jamie, stop listening for like 2 minutes if you are. But he really is a nice man. It's
Oh
it,
my
he.
gosh. Yes.
It's almost like not real,
I know. I'm like,
right?
this guy is amazing and he's brilliant and just overall fantastic. Like, uh he comes out with great games more times than not.
Yeah,
So
I just
yeah.
yeah, I've chatted with him a couple of times. He's very generous this time.
Hmm.
And some of his games I liked a lot, some I've liked less, but I mean, I
Hmm.
loved Expeditions a lot. I love
I
Euphoria.
have it. Yep. Oh,
Um,
Euphoria, so good, underrated.
yeah, that's what I've said that multiple times. That's one of my really, really like that game. I painted Expeditions. That's how much I like that. So let's not go into that.
Wow,
Yeah, I
dang,
painted that.
there it is.
Um, I played Apiary once, but yeah, whatever. We're not gonna, this isn't a Stonemeyer podcast.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I yeah.
he's a super nice man. He was kind enough to include me on his charity fundraise on BGG auction this year,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
just
that's awesome.
I my cause raised the most. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
that's
I'm just
awesome.
saying. Um, but like
My cause did
and
not.
like he was just gonna do that all the time, and he does it for 10 different people every year. But
Mhm.
just meant so very much. So what a nice man. So Jamie, if you're listening again, so thank you for being very nice.
Yes,
You
and
know,
being awesome.
doesn't mean I'm gonna say I love you. I love your game. I think I like Pendulum more than Matthew did. Matthew apparently hated Pendulum more than Matthew hated Staten Island. I'm just saying.
Um, I wouldn't go that far. I thought Pendulum had a really cool idea that didn't work out quite
Yeah,
as
I
well as
think
I
it
had
works
hoped.
at a higher player count. Actually, I think it's fun at a higher player count. But of course, it came out like in lockdown.
Yeah, it is.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
so that
yeah,
one it just kind of yeah. I was actually hoping for an expansion to like fix some things or make some things more a little more interesting. But then it just got shut down. I
yeah.
guess because it didn't do very well. So makes sense.
Yeah, it got hit pretty hard, but you know what? They can't all be winners.
Nope, nope.
But
But yep.
but so anyhow, this is the everyone's favorite part of the episode where we do the membership bump. So consider becoming a channel member. It's great. It's better than being in Staten Island.
And that's a fact.
Yeah, I hope no one's listening from Staten Island. Like I got nothing against Staten Island. I don't know anything about
Yeah,
Staten Island.
yeah.
Um,
I know tons of people from Staten
yeah, it's funny. My wife apparently does. I just heard her laughing on the other side of the door.
Island. Yeah,
Um,
I've got friends in Staten Island. Hey, everybody.
Yeah, but my wife worked in at a theater company in New York for a summer
Oh,
or
cool.
a little bit more than a summer after college, and then she left when she was like, "It's going to get cold, so I'm out." All right, but well, the game that we want to talk about tonight is, and if there's a weird cut, it's because my microphone died. I'm not quite sure where we cut off, but we're talking about a game called Conquest Princess, and this is a game from Fight in the Box Games that funded on GameFound or Kickstarter, I can't remember which one. And now on the other platform, they're going to have another campaign, which is going to be to fund the stretch goals that they did not unlock during the original campaign, but it's all going to deliver at the same time it was originally scheduled to deliver. And this is a crisis management style game where which combines fashion and Voltron and pets and nostalgia for people my age and a whole bunch of color and just smashes it up into this one unique game. And Matthew, I know you're a big fan of this game. You've actually played
Yes.
more of it than I have. So can you just kind of briefly tell us how you play the game and then just kind of tell us your thoughts, good and bad, on it?
Yeah, so it's a cooperative style game, bag building, and you there are different missions that you could go through. But the core of the game is you have four actions, and each of those four actions you have three options, which is either move, attack, or engage. And when you're engaging, you're usually using the special ability of the location that you're in on this like space station, or I think it's called the tiara, and I forgot what that acronym stands for. But
Temporal something another, something 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 agency, I think.
yes, that was exactly it, actually. And yeah, and then you're trying to complete the objective of whatever the mission is, without losing all of your power, which is your passion. Passion is your power, and you're drawing through this deck of cards that has all this fashion in it, and it is just so cool. Where I love it for so many reasons. One is that all of the characters that you play as are either female slash woman or non-binary, and you don't get that a whole lot in games. I don't know of any other game that does that. And the diversity, not just in terms of gender, but in terms of just race and body shape and all that stuff, it is there, which is great. And um, it also promotes, you know, friendship, mental health being important, taking care of yourself while also helping out your friends, and
And looking good while you do it.
and looking real good while you do it. And the game
Yeah.
itself looks really nice, too. So that's definitely a plus. I love bag building. I love cooperative, like I said. So this is great, and it has a tutorial mission. So, and I always love tutorial missions that bring you into the game, because this game looks kind of overwhelming, but the tutorial mission really brings it down. It's like, okay, don't worry about it. I'm gonna hold your hand, buddy, and we're getting through this together. So Oh, man, I was saying that, like, this game is important to be part of the hobby.
Yeah, this is, and I mean, so before I talk about the social aspect of the game, which I think is very important, so I want to end with that. Gameplay wise, it is a lot of fun, and it's interesting
Yes.
because I've played several versions of this because I know Seppi fairly well, and
Mhm,
he I run into him at a lot of conventions, even some conventions out here on the West Coast,
mhm.
and I've played several versions of it, and it's really locked in
Yes.
a really good way now, and every time I played it, like, all the stuff that maybe didn't quite work has been stripped away and stripped
Mm,
away to where it is a really fun crisis management,
yep.
challenging, interesting game in all the best ways. And then socially, I think it's just you said you did a whole video on it. It's just so important
Mhm.
that it exists, that it
Yes.
is out there. And to me, I will it's kind of like a board game version of Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like,
Yeah.
it just it's so out there, but it's so right.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just think it's just everything that it's doing and that he's trying, Seppi, one of the designers, is trying to say with this game, I think is just so important. And that is not to say it hasn't had its detractors. There was a lot of hate
Yep.
that came out after Seppi and Fight in a Box in ways that was just very, I mean, far more disheartening for him, I am sure.
I'm sure, yeah.
And it didn't fund as fast as everyone would hope. It did fund, it unlocked some stretch goals. But on the other hand, there were a lot of people that came out to support this thing. And if you actually
Mm.
were to, and I got the privilege of, to look at it because I was helping Seppi with a little bit with the content creation. It really is a little bit of a who's who of
Mhm.
board game people if you know who was actually backing this game.
Yeah.
And so it's on the right path, and it might just be that this game is slightly ahead of its time socially. But I hope that when this next campaign comes and when the game comes out, people are going to realize just how good it is because some big names in board gaming are all about this game.
Yeah.
And Alex Radcliffe is
Mhm.
all about this game.
Yes, he is, yep.
And I mean, there's not a lot of channels bigger than that one. And there's Michael Kelly's a big fan of this game. Like a lot of people, you're a big fan of this game,
Mhm.
so that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Yeah, the only real substantive critique I have about this game is it takes up so much damn
It
space.
does. It's yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, the Seppi has told me it is smaller than it was,
Mhm.
but it took up my whole table when I was playing this thing.
Yeah.
Now you had the new prototype. You've gotten to
Mhm.
experience the new stuff. What
Yes.
is the new stuff all about? Because I don't have it yet. It's coming to me in a couple weeks.
Ooh, okay, yeah. So, it definitely takes up less space. That's for sure. It takes up a good amount of space. And I think part of that is what makes it a little bit overwhelming because there's a lot of pieces to this game.
Mhm.
Um, for something that's actually pretty straightforward in what you do, um, which is nice. But yeah, the you have your acrylic standees, which are beautiful, and if you back and got that like a luminescent light
Yeah,
up
the
stuff,
insane level. You have
yeah,
flashlights to hold under them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and of course, I backed that part. So I had to. But yeah, it has that along with the board, and then your other board that has like the reserve pile going on.
Right, and don't forget the other board, the other board, and the other board.
Yeah, yeah, all these boards, but a lot of them just kind of center around, the main board that you're doing stuff on, which is nice. Although, yeah, there's a lot of boards in this game because you also have like this revolving these tiles that are moving kind of like space, and so you're going through space. And so the tiles are moving kind of like if you played Thunder Road Vendetta or anything like that. Um, and so, yes, it could take up a lot of table space. Um, that being said, I wouldn't say that it takes up an entire like I have one of those big game theory tables. Um,
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So yeah. My table's a 4 by 3. That's my table.
okay, so it will take up all of that for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, it's got a big footprint. But it all works together and
Mhm.
it makes sense. And I think it is because it like there's so many separate boards and things that are going on, but like I said, it all makes sense, and you're really mostly paying attention to that centerpiece
Mhm.
that's there, which is nice. Such a great game with great what's it called theme. The
Mhm.
theme is it just oozes with theme uh for what he was going for, and yeah, he just created something really special.
Yeah, I think I mean, we've talked a significant amount about the theming and the social importance of it, and I say that not lightly.
Mhm.
In board gaming, I think socially this is an important game. I think this is where the direction we need to be going because it's very easy. I'm gonna get on my soapbox. Will you help me? I'm old. Do you help me on my
Yeah, yeah,
soapbox
yeah.
here?
I will lift you up.
Yeah. It's easy for me as a straight white guy to play a hero that I can identify with. It's just easy. And to know that there are other people who do not feel like they can play someone that represents them, what a bummer. Like I say that, but what a total bummer. And I think about, I have a family member who is not white. And that's when it first struck me. I was like, that's not cool. Like they should be able to play someone like that. And it's strange that it took something like that. Like, I like to think of myself as a decently open human being, but I'd never thought about it. And then to see
Yeah.
this game come out and then like to see your video that you were touched by this game because we did not contact you about
No.
this game
Yeah.
when you made your first video just really struck me in the way that I think is just so, but I think it's just so important. Along with that, that is not just people who are excited by the social aspect of this game that are liking it. That I think is what's super telling. It is a good friggin' game
Yeah.
that's also doing the social aspect right. So anyhow, I'm very high on it, and I mean I love Seppi. I mean,
Yes. Seppi's
Seppi.
great.
Everybody, if you ever go to a convention, they rarely have a booth, but you if Fight in the Box is there, go find him. Seppi's gonna be very Seppi. Like Seppi's like 1,000% Seppi,
Yes. Yes.
and you have to know Seppi to understand what that means. But you're gonna get a great demo, and you're gonna play some weird ass games,
Yes.
and they're gonna be good. And this is one that I really fully support. And Matthew, you played it more than I have, so you clearly support it too. But yeah,
Yeah.
that I mean, we can bang on about this for another hour, but
Oh yeah.
that's the
Could have done a
point.
whole episode on just that.
Yeah, it's a fun ass game, and it's
Yeah.
doing everything right. So check it out. It's gonna come back to. I want to say it's GameFound. Seppi's gonna be so mad at me that I don't remember. I think it's coming back to GameFound. It was on Kickstarter. You'll get another crack at it if you are a backer. It's just for the stretch goals. It is not delaying the delivery of the game. And
No.
Seppi's very
Yes.
proud to say that they've never been late on a Kickstarter, and more often than not, they've been early. Now I don't know they're gonna be early on this thing.
This one, yeah, is
I think
bigger.
it's a lot of stuff, but I am hopeful. Um, So, Matthew, it is, oh my gosh, it's almost midnight there. So, we'll wrap it up. And I don't know if you're aware, but guests always have to leave us
Ooh.
with their gaming words of wisdom.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
Like,
So what do you got for us?
oh my gosh, I'm being put on the spot. I didn't realize this. My
If it
gaming
makes you
words of
feel better,
wisdom.
Don has been on the show like 12 times and he still forgets.
Yeah. Yep. That's cool. My gaming words of wisdom are to remember that uh, the objective of the game is to win, and the goal of the game is to have fun.
But what if the only way you have fun is to win?
You're not playing right.
Oh, damn. Wow. There you have it, folks. That is cut and dry. If you're playing to win, you're wrong. If you're
Exactly.
upset about that, email Room 51, not me. I don't want to hear it.
Thank
But thank you so much, Beth, for coming on. I've actually been watching your content for quite some time. We've been actually
you.
communicating about trying to do this
Yes.
for a long time now. I've just been
Yeah.
super busy and lame. But
No, it's all good. Yeah.
if people want to see more of you and your wife's editing powers, how can they do that?
Yeah. Well, first, I just want to say thank you so much, Will, for having me on here. I've been watching your content for a while, so I was shocked when I got your first email. I was like, oh, they know who I am. But anyway, so and the way you can find us is on YouTube. So youtube.com/room51, or we're also on twitch.tv/room51 live, where we play live playthroughs of games. And if you want to follow us on any sort of social media, we're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at This Is Room 51.
Right. So there you have it. But make sure you check that out. There will be a link in the description to the YouTube channel, so you can just jump right over there. And do you know what the next game you're going to stream is?
I never know about until about like 10 minutes before.
Who makes the decision on what you're streaming?
Me.
Wow.
Me and my brother. we're procrastinators at heart.
That oh man, I don't get stressed. That stresses me out. But something's gonna be next. It's gonna be on Twitch. Check it out. If you're young, if you're old like me, wait till it shows up on YouTube. Uh, make sure you check out. And you also have a Patreon, right? Or is it just you can buy swag?
You can buy swag.
So go buy some swag and check it out. Make sure you subscribe. Matthew, thank you so very much for staying up
Yeah.
super late, talking about
Oh
some
yeah.
good stuff. And
Yeah.
let's make sure we do it again.
Yes, this is
Play
fun.
some games at a convention. I'll be at Gen Con. I don't know if you're going to be there.
Yes, heck yes.
So certainly at Gen Con. Again, thank you so very much for joining me. Everybody else, thank you so much for watching or listening, whichever one you are doing. If you enjoy this episode, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. Check out Room 51. Have a wonderful day.
Yes. Sorry to all of Staten Island.
No, you're not. Are you in like New York, New York?
Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh my gosh, you are like the most important person I've ever had on this damn podcast. That's amazing.
Yeah. Born and raised into royalty.
What's your hierarchy of boroughs?
No, first I would go Brooklyn, then Manhattan, then Queens, then the Bronx, and then Staten Island shouldn't even be part of
Wow,
it.
my two people who are in Staten Island just unsubscribed.
Talking trash.